1942. The scenario of World War II took a dramatic turn. To cope with the complex situation, Great Britain sent Sir Stafford Cripps with some vague promises to subdue the impact of India's struggle for independence. Veteran freedom fighter Sri Achyut Patwardhan said,
"Our people discovered that Britain had evolved its own political philosophy. That political philosophy was founded on the postulate of the sovereignty of the people. That means that the common people were sovereign. Although at that time in England women did not have a vote, but still theoretically the people of England were sovereign. So the Indians discovered to their dismay that Queen Victoria, who had called herself the Empress of India, Kaisar-e-Azam, Kaisar-e-Hind, she did not rule. Then who ruled? The Prime Minister ruled. Who was this fellow? He was elected by the people, and that party which had a majority, its leader became the Prime Minister. So they discovered democratic government, which was based on the sovereignty of the people. The moment you talk of the sovereignty of the people, that means all people are sovereign, not a selected few. So the entire freedom movement of India from 1885 onwards was based upon creating a confidence in the Indian people and an awakening that if they wish so, they are the sovereign people. And it took us a long time. That is why they called Tilak the father of Indian unrest. But that was a compliment which only taught us that through unrest he was awakening the people. The culminating point of this was the Quit India movement.
On August 7th and 8th, I was a 21-year-old girl who had just come out from the college, and not only I, but very many other friends and fresh graduates attended the meeting, and we were just thrilled by the messages of Mahatma Gandhi, Jawaharlal Nehru, who moved the resolution of Quit India, Sardar Patel, Maulana Sahab and others. And Jawaharlal ji rightly said that it was not some petitioning or not a mere demand, but it was an offer of independent India to cooperate with the British government in its war efforts.
It was so long ago, really. I was a young student studying in the government law college, and I was the general secretary of the union then, and also one of the office bearers of the All India Students' Congress.
We got married in 48, and this event happened in 42. Still, however, Dr. Ambedkar used to recall the olden times, and he has had talk with me about that. And Dr. Ambedkar being topmost leader in this country, he was naturally influenced by happenings round about. But I must tell you one thing, it was Dr. Ambedkar who gave the call for Quit India when he went to London for a roundtable conference in 1932. He agreed for Quit India. He was hoping that after India gets freedom, perhaps this veil of untouchability will go and the government will encourage certain ideas, and the government has brought in some certain laws and regulations. They will be forced and Dalits will be emancipated thoroughly.
I was a volunteer of the Bombay Pradesh Congress Committee. In those days I was studying in the college, and being a college student perhaps, I was assigned a duty near the stage itself. Therefore, I could get a very first-hand view of our leaders. I could see them, I could watch them, I could hear them, and I could see also their reactions.
On 7th and 8th of August, the Indian National Congress AICC session was held in Bombay, and the whole country was eagerly waiting what message Father of the Nation was going to give. So we were all very eagerly waiting. I was just 14, but I was in the national school, and for we all students and the villagers waiting for the call or for the message of Mahatma Gandhi.
1942 ਵਿੱਚ ਮੈਂ 8 ਸਾਲ ਦਾ ਸਾਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਭਾਰਤ ਛੱਡੋ ਦੀ ਮੂਵਮੈਂਟ ਬਾਰੇ ਸੁਣਨਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ। ਮੇਰੇ ਪਿਤਾ ਜੀ ਸਕੂਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਧਿਆਪਕ ਸਨ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਵੀ ਇਸ ਅੰਦੋਲਨ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਲਿਆ। ਮੇਰੇ ਤਾਇਆ ਜੀ ਸਨ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਲਿਆ। ਅਸਲ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੰਜਾਬ ਜਿਸਨੇ ਕਾਮਾ ਘਾਟਾ ਮਾਰੂ ਦੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਚੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਹਿੰਦੁਸਤਾਨ ਦੀ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਲੈਣਾ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ, ਉਸੇ ਹੀ ਜੋਸ਼ ਖਰੋਸ਼ ਨਾਲ 1942 ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮੂਵਮੈਂਟ ਭਾਰਤ ਛੱਡੋ ਦੀ ਸੀ, ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਹਿੱਸਾ ਲਿਆ।
अपने वल्लभ भाई ने बोला कि कुछ भी हालत होगा देश स्वतंत्र होना मांगता है।
Pandit ji called the then British government in India as a creaking, squeaking machinery, and he said, I will have nothing to do with it. At about 9:30 in the evening, Gandhiji rose to speak. Now when I say Gandhiji rose to speak, actually he spoke sitting. And Gandhiji addressed, I take a pledge and I ask you to take a pledge. Do or die. Karenge ya marenge. And making a final request to the British to withdraw from the country.
गांधी जी ने लास्ट में बोला इंग्लैंड को तुम लोग चले जाओ, भारत हमारा है। और उस टाइम में वो लोग ने फिर ये बाजू सब लोग ने गड़बड़ किया। पुलिस का बंदोबस्त बहुत बड़ा रह गया, ज़बरदस्त पुलिस हो गया, और बारिश गिर गया जोर से बारिश गिर गया। और गांधी जी ने फिर बोला 2 बार में कि भारत तुम छोड़ के चले जाओ। जब वो लोग ने सब पुलिस भाग के वो गांधी जी को पकड़ने को गया, और वो गांधी जी को पकड़ने को गया, जब सब लोग सहरा बहरा होके सब बारिश में, चिक्कल में, किचल में, बूट, चप्पल, जूते सब छोड़ के भागे।
The police were there, and when our eyes started smarting, we were wondering what has happened. Then my father and mother told us that it is tear gas they've thrown. That is why it's smarting, and you go inside.
What happened in the night is now well known.
In the early hours of 9th August, Gandhiji was arrested and taken to the Aga Khan Palace in Pune.
The leaders were arrested very early morning. The British government swooped down on almost all the known Congress workers and leaders, and took them to various jails.
બેતાળીસની ચળવળ ભારત છોડો એ મેં નજરે તો નથી જોઈ, કારણ કે તે વખતે માંડ હું 1 વર્ષનો પણ નહોતો, પણ એના વિશે સાંભળ્યું ઘણું છે, કારણ કે એની ઘણી ચર્ચાઓ મારા ઘરમાં થતી. એનું કારણ કે મારા પિતાશ્રી અને મારા મધર માતુશ્રી એ બંને એ ભારત છોડોની ચળવળ સાથે ખૂબ જ અંગત રીતે સંકળાયેલા હતા. ઓગસ્ટ ક્રાંતિ મેદાનમાં એ વખતે એમણે પોતે લાઠીઓ પણ ખાધી છે, અને એ લાઠીઓના મારને કારણે જ એમનામાં જે સહનશક્તિ આવેલી, એ સહનશક્તિના પરિણામે ગમે એવી મુશ્કેલીઓ ત્યાર પછી આવી આ દુનિયામાં એમના જીવનમાં, પણ એમણે હસ્તે મોઢે નિભાવી.
There was a young boy, I think Gopal was his name, and he had come to Agast Kranti Maidan, then known as Govaliya Tank Maidan, to hear his cherished leaders. But he could not do that because all the leaders were arrested that morning, and the police began harassing the people. They released tear gas and also lathi charged the crowd. So young Gopal received many blows and he had to be immediately removed to the KEM hospital. The response of the mother, Dagdubai was her name, was, oh God, I wish I had been hurt and not my little Gopal, my only son. But anyway, I will go to the hospital, pray for his life. But my other regret is that I do not have a second son to give as an offering to Bharat Mata.
నేను అప్పుడు చాలా చిన్నవాణ్ణి. నేను మా తల్లిదండ్రులకు అడిగాను. వాళ్ళు తల్లిదండ్రులు చెప్పారు, మేము స్వదేశీ కొరకు పోరాడానికి దేశం కొరకు త్యాగము చేశాము. పెద్ద ఆందోళన హైదరాబాదులో జరిగింది, మొత్తము ఆంధ్రాలో జరిగింది, అన్ని స్టేట్లో కూడా జరిగాయి.
ಈ ಹೋರಾಟದ ಸಮಯದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯವರು ತಮ್ಮ ಭಾಷಣದಲ್ಲಿ ಬ್ರಿಟಿಷರು ಭಾರತವನ್ನು ಬಿಟ್ಟು ತೊಲಗಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಆದೇಶ ನೀಡಿದರು. ಈ ಸಂದರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿ ಗಾಂಧೀಜಿಯವರು ವಿಶೇಷವಾಗಿ ಕರ್ನಾಟಕವನ್ನು ಉದಾಹರಿಸಿದರು. ಕನ್ನಡಿಗರು ಈ ಚಳವಳಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಚ್ಚು ಸಂಖ್ಯೆಯಲ್ಲಿ ಭಾಗವಹಿಸುವರು ಎಂದು ಅವರು ಆಶಿಸಿದರು. ಅವರು ಹೆಚ್ಚಿನ ಧ್ಯಾನವನ್ನು ಕನ್ನಡಕ್ಕೆ ಹರಿಸಿದರು.
I am born and brought up in the movement, in the sense that my father was a police inspector in British Raj. He resigned the British service and joined the Gandhi movement, the struggle for independence. On 9th of August, the arrest started, in fact 9th morning. And my father was arrested on 9th afternoon, 9th of August afternoon. Thereafter, almost all those who were prominent workers, our teachers, they were arrested. And they were thinking of arresting some of we students. But we hid in the banana gardens. And thereafter, my sisters were arrested, 2 sisters. Then we launched Satyagraha. On every village chowdi, we started putting national flag, one after another. And then I was also arrested, along with 9 friends of mine. They were all enthused. The spirit of nationalism was at the height. People were prepared to sacrifice whatever was necessary to sacrifice for the country.
Sharan, this radio station, underground radio station, was started on the 3rd of September 1942, if I remember.
No, it was started much earlier.
Much earlier.
Much. And it was started in about 4 or 5 days after the 9th.
after the 9th.
Right.
And where did you start it?
We started it from a flat in Valkeshwar, but we had to change places, and I think we worked till about November 12th, and during that interval of 3 to 4 months, we had to change 7 or 8 places.
Vittalbhai was also working.
Yes. We were. Vittalbhai was with us. Then one Chandrakant Bhai Jhaveri was arrested with me right from the broadcasting station, and there were 2 others with us. Babu Bhai Khakkar, who was my classmate in one of the classes in Rashtrabhasha, and Nanak Bhai Mutwani of the Mutwani company also was one of the accused. But the main actors here were certainly Babu Bhai Khakkar and I. We worked in collaboration, and Vittalbhai was put in charge of our recording station. We had one broadcasting station and one recording station, and almost every day we used to relay speeches of our leaders, Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia, Achyut Rawji Patwardhan, Jaiprakash Narayan, Arunaji, Suchitaji Kriplani. And when I talk of the Congress radio, I am reminded of the historic announcement which we used to make from the transmitter. That was, "This is Congress radio speaking from somewhere in India on 42.34 meters."
आपलं नाव?
रघुनाथ दत्तात्रय बर्वे.
आपण या चळवळीत भाग घेतला त्याच्याबद्दल काही आठवणी सांगू शकाल?
आठवणी इतक्याच सांगतो की त्यावेळी जे काही काँग्रेसचं किंवा स्वराज्य मिळवण्यासाठी प्रयत्न चालले होते ते वर्तमानपत्रामध्ये कधीही येत नसत, आणि त्यावेळी काँग्रेस बुलेटिन निघत असे, आणि ते बुलेटिन मी सगळ्या लोकांना कार्यक्रम काय आहेत हे समजावे म्हणून मी डिस्ट्रीब्यूट करीत होते.
My duty was to keep contact with workers in the field, give them the right type of literature, which was produced mainly by people like Sani Guruji, Achyut, Jaiprakash, etc., and keep them informed of what was happening in the country, because they were all working underground. So I was the person who used to go to Nasik district, Thana district, Bombay itself, and I tried to work.
On the 11th of August, Kasturba also addressed a public meeting in Bombay, got arrested, and she was sent to the jail along with Dr. Sushila Nair. There were a few others also with him, like Sarojini Naidu, Prabhavati Devi, wife of Jaiprakash Narayan, then Miss Slade, whom Gandhiji has named Meera Bahan. She was residing with him here. Then Dr. Gilder was there, Palaraji was there, and all of them, and especially Sarojini Naidu. She was the charm of this palace while they were in jail.
I edited an illegal journal called 9th August for them. I spoke on the clandestine Congress radio in secrecy from various people's places at night. Then when February 1943 came, Mahatma Gandhi went on a fast unto death or 21 days. I took a pessimistic view and thought the old man would die. So I left my job and I went to Pune and led an illegal procession for which I was arrested.
Revolutions in France or Russia or other parts of the world were revolutions which were confined either to a particular class or a particular section of the society. Whereas so far as our August Revolution of 1942 is concerned, it was certainly a revolution of might and majesty. And it was more than that, a people's revolution, a spontaneous revolution.
Uttaram yat samudrasya himadreshchaiva dakshinam varsham tad bharatam nama bharati yatra santati.
Today, 50 years later in 1992, when we look back, people from all walks of life reflect upon the unique Quit India movement.
I want to know about Quit India.
I am 21 years old. I know nothing about this Quit India movement.
In 1942, to crush the movement, the British arrested hundreds of leaders. A large number of people were also killed in the firing. Around 385 bullets were fired, which resulted in 940 deaths and 1,630 were injured. Around 60,000 were also arrested. The Britishers had never seen such a widespread uprising in the country.
Even on the 8th of August, when the resolution was passed, I think it was the 8th of August, and none of us felt that it would result in the kind of mass upsurge that it did, because Gandhiji had then to offer to negotiate, and there was the hope that some kind of an understanding with the British, who were very badly off in the war during those days, would come about. But suddenly, and the arrests were so secretive that the next morning we were told that practically every important leader had been arrested. Gandhiji, all members of the working committee, Maulana Azad, who was then the Congress president. And therefore, the reaction of the people, not only of the young, but also of the old, was so spontaneous that by the time it was, say, at 12 o'clock in the day when the news had spread, or by 1 or 2 p.m., the whole of Bombay was full of protesters. And it was quite a difficult job to control the situation.
In 1942, the War of Independence was not fought on battlefields by the generals and admirals with the tanks and warships. It was fought by the common people who believed in the ideals of Gandhiji.
So far as our August Revolution of 1942 is concerned, it was certainly a revolution of might and majesty. And it was more than that, a people's revolution, a spontaneous revolution. There was hardly any section of the society, whether it were students or teachers, lawyers or doctors, peasants or workers, men or women, who did not participate in it and participate willingly. It is well known that laborers in Jamshedpur, the still city, did not work. They were on strike for a long time. Similarly, not a single spindle clattered in Ahmedabad, the mill city, and in Bombay too, a spontaneous strike was observed by the laborers.
Whenever I think of the Quit India movement, I am so thrilled to imagine the million Indian sons who faced the brutal attacks of the Britishers. They were not frightened of bullets. If one person fell down, there was someone who came forward to face the bullet and waited for that moment when the ammunition of the oppressors will be spent up and they will surrender to the freedom-loving people of India.
My village, which was a very small village, even today it's a very small village, but from this small village of 2,000 population, 75 volunteers were arrested.
Lokmanya Tilak said that independence is my birthright. When Gandhiji gave the call, do or die, the students were in the forefront of the most successful movement called the Quit India movement.
We organized the boycott of colleges in all the colleges in Bombay. And let me tell you one thing, that it's not 90% or 99%, but 100% we succeeded.
मैं ये सोचता हूँ कि अगर वैसा ही जन आक्रोश जैसा पहले था फिर से जनता के मन में उभर आए और जनता ये इरादा कर ले कि जिस तरह अंग्रेज़ों को हिंदुस्तान से भागना पड़ा और जनता उसमें सफल हुई, उसी प्रकार से जन संकल्प हमारी समाज की बुराइयों के खिलाफ जाग उठे, तो कोई कारण नहीं कि हमारे समाज की क्या दुनिया भर की बुराइयों को दूर ना किया जा सके.
College students, they are breaking certain conventions and customs that are binding in the family life. If they could pursue that outside also, it will be very useful. And I look to the youth to bring on that social revolution, which they only can do.
Revolutions are not made, they come.
Our challenge today is the challenge of how to lift the people below the poverty line, provide employment for them with local resources, and improve their standard of living, not only standard of living, their quality of life. So we have to improve the quality of life so that there is no high and low. The real enemy today is that no Indian thinks he is the equal of his another. We have to say that all men are brothers. This sense of equality of the Indian citizen, irrespective of whether he is rich or poor, educated or uneducated, where he is born, advantage, disadvantage, he must feel a sense of brotherliness. It is this fight against the internal enemy which is the challenge of today.
আমাদের দেশের ছেলেরা অনেক বুদ্ধিমান, তাই মনে হয় যে তারা আমাদের দেশের কথা অনেক ভাববে এবং অনেক গৌরব বাড়াবে।
Sacrifice that went behind Quit India movement requires a solid plan for national integration, whereby we drop our petty interests and work in a well-organized manner.
मां पंहिंजे ॿारनि खे हाणे सेखारण जी कोशिशि कयां थी त की तव्हां बि कुझु कयो पंहिंजे हिंदुस्तान जे वास्ते ऐं पंहिंजे जेको असां न करे सघियासीं हाणे तव्हां कयो ऐं पंहिंजे ॿधी रखी करे पंहिंजो पाण में ॿधी रखी करे पंहिंजे हिंदुस्तान खे अॻिते वधायो त ई कुझु हिंदुस्तान जो वाधारो थी सघंदो, न त ॾाढो मुश्किल आहे।
As an NCC cadet, I basically feel the first thing a man should learn is unity and discipline. This sense is being inculcated in India, in the youth of India, to see that India comes as a forefront in the history of all nations.
The discipline which we have been able to maintain till this day, and I'm sure of it that we will be able to integrate India through culture, and there would be no arrogance of culture any longer in India.
ਜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਸੇ ਭਾਵਨਾ ਨੂੰ ਕਾਇਮ ਰੱਖੀਏ ਜਿਸ ਭਾਵਨਾ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ 47 ਤੋਂ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਜੰਗੇ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਲੜੀ ਸੀ, ਆਪਣੇ ਜ਼ਾਤੀ ਮਤਭੇਦਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਭੁਲਾ ਕੇ ਸਾਰੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੇ ਆਪਣੀ ਆਜ਼ਾਦੀ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਂਭੀਏ ਤਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਦੇ ਹਿੱਤਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਾਹਮਣੇ ਰੱਖ ਕੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਕੁਝ ਕਰੀਏ ਉਪਰਾਲਾ ਤੇ ਸਾਡਾ ਦੇਸ਼ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਸੋਨੇ ਦੀ ਚਿੜੀਆ ਤਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ, ਸੋਨੇ ਦਾ ਸ਼ੇਰ ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਬਣ ਜਾਵੇ।
It's a hair-raising phenomena that brought millions of people together who had diverse cultures and religion, and they came from different geographical areas together.
सध्याच्या परिस्थितीबद्दल बोलायचं झालं तर एकंदर सगळी भाषाच बदलून गेली असल्या कारणानं आपण त्याविषयी काही एक ठोकताळा देऊ शकणार नाही.
In a democracy of 70 crores, there could be 70 crores of opinions. So if there are any fights or conflicts or differences, it's not unnatural. But in the process, we will find that there are many steps to progress. And if the youth take up the best step, then I can say proudly that tomorrow is ours.
Hogi